Okay, there's a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting which we had, the last official meeting, which is February. If anybody has reviewed it, and is there a motion to accept minutes?
I make a motion to accept it.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no public, I guess there's no public comment. Status reports. I don't see any of that happening. Does anybody have anything to report there? So as we progress down through the business items, they're the standard business items that we've had for a long time. Does anybody have anything to add specifically on any of those 8 items?
I do a little bit on the elk. I think that finally, that perhaps upper management is finally getting it through their head that we're suffering from overpopulation. I know that sounds very simplified. However, I think a lot of upper management really hasn't heard just exactly how bad it is in some areas. And unfortunately now, a lot of the bigger herds are in populated areas. One of our share hunters last year saw more elk on Front Street and the harbor than they did out on the share areas. And that's really bad from the point of view because it can't be hunted in these areas. And so on my own, not through this, I've written some letters lately, and some of the feedback has been promising from the point of view that they're beginning to recognize that they have something that's out of control. Period.
They don't have any suggestion as to how to get rid of or move out the animals that are living in the public areas, though, I'm assuming.
Yes and no. They're claiming that they're starting to do some research at this point, but not for counting the animals, but of alternatives of what they can and can't do. But I pointed out to them they're about 18 years behind times, and actually a few of the people have been in contact, which is something that hasn't happened before. That doesn't mean anything's going to happen. It's just that I think their awareness has been heightened. And the gal, Valerie, I can't remember her last name. It's Term Minnie, I think it is her name. She's a new deputy director under Bonham himself. And she was the one that took Stafford Lair's place that came here years ago that said he was going to have everything solved in the last 6 months before his term was up. And I know she's aware. And Kevin Thomas, I'm not exactly sure what his title is, but he's aware. Chad Dibble is now aware. Jeff Stoddard, that's been at these stakeholder meetings, I do not think he's done a very good job taking our situation to higher management. However, I think he is getting the message that that does need to happen. And Tina, what's her last name? Bartlett, I think it is. Yeah, she made a lot of promises, like to myself personally, on fencing and trial plots, and of course, none of that happened. And I think that upper management is now realizing that the ball's been dropped a lot. And as I told you earlier, Rob, we had a situation where they ran 20 head of fall calves, about 700 pounders, through a 7,000 volt heavy hotline and the perimeter fence out on the Lake Earl, right at the prison change. And CO come running to the house at 10:15 at night and said, cars are all over. I think one of them's been hit. And I went down there, and if one did get hit, it hasn't died yet, let's put it that way. And all the cars and stuff were there. There was no incident report. But I told them, I can't have that anymore. And it's a little different if you're out, like on Lower Lake Road, and an animal gets out. People are kind of looking for that. But Lake Earl Drive, at that time of night, people, the last thing on their mind is livestock. So we'll see what happens. But I've requested a stakeholders meeting with upper management in attendance, because our last one, Tina, was supposed to be here, and she wasn't here. I understand her mom was sick or something, and of course, that does happen. But some of these people that's in the decision-making world, they need to come to the meetings, because it simply is not getting upgraded to the staff, from our local staff.
Yeah, the problems have been discussed with the folks that have been in attendance, like Sean and Jeff and so forth, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere.
No.
And so you got to go above them. You got to go above them.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe something happens, maybe it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But at least the people above them will get the correct information.
And I reminded them, and I'm certainly not an attorney. However, I have consulted some attorneys, and it's my understanding that the entire elk management plan has been improved for all of California except the Northwest region. And it's ongoing studies. That's where we are. We have an approved California plan, but our little area up here. And as one of my attorneys explained to me, there's a reason for that. And that is because it makes it much more difficult to sue them for damages, because they say, oh, well, we're studying it. But if they have a management plan in place and they have the ongoing damages, then that shows their management plan isn't good, and a person can sue them. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to sue them. I'm just saying that's why we're sitting out here like a cooked goose, and nothing's happening.
That kind of makes sense.
Do they have any ideas on what they could do to
Uh,
help with the overpopulation and the fact,
they do have. And
in your conversations, they actually brought them up?
yes, one of the things that was brought up is some of my discussion that I had with you the other day. And Jeff said, we're going to work with the tribes, and we're going to have the tribes get a cultural and scientific permit, because they didn't want to issue depredation permits, because now they're saying that the depredation permits, the meat can no longer be used. Now, that's news to me, because about 7 years ago, on the Birch Track, we had a depredation permit, and that's when, what was the guy's name? The one that left, that was disgruntled, that destroyed all the records. Anyway, that fishing game, Dave Lancaster. And I read with my own two eyes on the paper that he had, not something he'd written in, but it was on the paper. It said at a depredation permit can be given to a nonprofit organization, charity organization, or something like that. In other words, you didn't have to waste the meat. But the person with the elk that killed the elk couldn't use the meat. Like you can with a pig on pig permits, but you can't with the elk. So they have to figure out now and not be wasteful on the depredation permits. So that's where Jeff said to me, and I am right. I did have a conversation with him today, and he said that they would work with the tribes. Well, after I stopped and talked to JTUC, I talked to a couple of your friends of mine, and I said, well, I don't think that has really happened. And I said, I don't know if I misunderstood Jeff last Friday or what's going on. So today, he talked to me, and so did Chad Dibble. And they said, well, that they were going to talk to the tribes. And I said, well, I'm not so sure. And I said, I can't speak for anybody, but I said, I'm not so sure that that's on their agenda, if that's what they want to do. And, you know, you're throwing this out here before you talk to anybody was my point. And so Chad said that there's some tribe down in Santa Rosa that has a request in the Fish and Game for so many 100 pounds of salmon and so many 100 pounds of elk. So maybe they could bring tribes in from outside the area. And I said, well, here's the deal. I don't care if Santa Claus comes in to shoot them. I said, the point is that we have to do something, and we have to do something now, because I can't live with it. And so where we left off today with Jeff, he said that he is going to be talking to the tribes. I said, okay, great. All right. And Chad said that they were talking down there to that tribe, is looking at it. And Jay Tuck, you may know, but evidently there is somebody at the state level with Fish and Game that is kind of the liaison person with all tribes in California.
Yeah, they have a tribal liaison.
Yeah.
Through the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah. And so they were going to try
I think
and work.
that's
It was a lady.
as a woman now.
Yeah.
Those positions change
Yeah.
almost monthly. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so I said, okay, but it needs to be solved now. And I said, this is nothing new to your department. We've made you aware of this for 18 years, and you shredded 12 years of Farm Bureau documentation, Grange documentation, personal documentation. And like it or not, your employee is the one that did it. So figure it out, guys, you know. And Chad Dibble is very pleasant to talk to. And Jeff Stoddard has been actually very pleasant to talk to. And so tomorrow, Sean Freeze is supposed to be up here meeting me at the Grange. I don't know if he's coming or some of his staff with cameras. We're back to cameras again now. And they're bringing paintball guns and going to have us shoot these elk with paintball guns and see what herds they go back to. And I said, I suggested that 2 months ago and was told we couldn't do it. What's changed? Now, I said, oh, I'm willing to do it. But so they want to identify where they're going to see where they're coming from. That's not going to solve my problem or anybody else's problem that's having an issue with things. So that is the latest update. So I did put in a letter to them that I was requesting a stakeholders meeting. Maybe it would be nice if this committee would request a stakeholders meeting. We can host it out there again like we did. But this time, we want the upper management, the decision makers, to come. Not, and in all due respect to Sean and everybody else, Jeff included, the message is not getting to upper management. And I think, you know, we'll see if Jeff contacts the tribes. I don't know anybody on the UROC council. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I just don't know who's on their council right now. And I haven't talked to Elk Valley yet, but if Jeff's going to come up here, but then they said, I don't know who the tribes are in Santa Rosa.
well, there's several of them down there. I don't know which one he's talking
I mean,
about.
I don't know which one he's talking
Yeah.
about.
Could be Dry Creek, could be Linton, could be.
I don't know. But
Yeah, could
I
be
know-
Kashaya. I mean, you
I know that day after tomorrow, I'm going to make another phone call and find out who they are talking about. And because I can plainly see that it takes a daily contact.
So, question. If in fact Fish and Game decides they want to work with other tribes, say it that way, I don't know the right way exactly. That's something as an example, and he can't speak for TDN, but that's something you guys would welcome other folks coming in harvesting elk? I wouldn't think so. I don't see how that would even remotely work.
no.
I mean, I had that
That ain't
conversation.
gonna work.
I had that conversation 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, that ain't gonna-
And so that's what I'm saying. I think this Chad is very well intentioned. I think he wants to solve it. I haven't talked to this Kevin, and I haven't had the personal conversation with Vivian. That's tomorrow. But I think that we need to ask them to come to a sit-down meeting, and they need to understand the problems. Now, we got more.
So their only remedy to it is just to harvest the animal. There's no talk about like relocating them? I
No,
mean,
oh, God.
Kendall's been talking about relocation since
Oh,
I
we
sat
can-
on it.
Oh, no. We can't relocate anything because of the foot rot, which we told them 15 years ago was a problem.
Well, it's spread everywhere anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, it spread all the way down to the Tule Elk. So what's the difference?
that's right. But they need to hear that. Upper management and I can see that more than just our local people that come in and listen to us talk, it needs to go further.
This gentleman who has the bright idea about bringing in other tribes hasn't contacted a local tribe, has he?
No.
No,
'Cause he's
and-
going to be told immediately, it sounds like, I don't know, because I sure can't speak for him, but they're going to be told, no, that's not happening.
I think common sense kind of rules the roost there.
Like if you want to work with the tribes, then work with the local 3 or 4 in the county. And
And
we're
then
not bringing up, Central California tribes up here to shoot
I'm just
our elk.
telling you, that's why I think we need to request a stakeholders meeting with the upper management.
That way they can actually learn directly the pros and cons of some of the ideas that are being bandied around that
Right,
absolutely don't work.
right. And then the other thing I asked Chad, I said, okay. I said, I said, one of the guys that I talked to, meaning you, I said, they'd come over and shoot an elk if it's tearing up the place. I said, yeah, I'm sure we could work something out. And I said, but I know him. And I said, so if you just say, okay, let's have some tribal members come in. I may or may not know them. And I said, what is my liability when that happens? Because like on our share hunts, we're really close to houses and roads. That's why either Sal or I have to be with them when they pull the trigger and say, hey, there's 5 houses behind those trees there. And we're not in the middle of 1,000 acres somewhere. And so I said, what is the liability? I said, how about doing this? Why don't we have Fish and Game? And he did go on this. I said, why doesn't Fish and Game come in and shoot like the lead bulls? I agree with that. There's about 13 to 18 bulls that's raising heck on Lakeview. And if they shoot 3 of the lead bulls, that would probably deter them a little bit. But I said, why not have the department come in and shoot them and then have someone come in and take the carcass? I said, it doesn't matter how we get them shot.
Right.
And he says, well, that might be something we could talk about. And they're talking about, well, could I move my cattle? Could I move them out of harm's way? And, and I said, I'm very harmed everywhere. But, and like I said, they've been there for about a month. They're at Lakeview. And we've run them off, I don't know how many times. And then again, they might not be there for another month.
So
No.
what I don't understand with their idea, would they come up tomorrow and they give you a paintball gun and you shoot the 13 bulls, they're going to stay right there with their bachelor herd. That's their herd.
Yeah.
They're
And,
not going to go to Tallawah
yeah. Now
Dunes and hang out with Alexander.
these bulls do go somewhere because they are not always there.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I mean, they're staying around that vicinity. They're not
Yeah.
moving anymore. They're not.
Yeah.
No, it'll be 2 more months before they decide to disperse and go someplace
Right,
and look for girls.
right.
It was Angel Lopez has about 40 acres. It's my aunt's old place down off of McNamara Road. And there were 30 bull elk that wintered the whole winter there. I heard of 30, 32, I forgot what.
On the old Orange area, there's no elk anymore.
Huh?
I got cameras out there. Last year, I had a lot of elk there.
Uh,
The old Orange area. This
where,
year,
at his ranch, you mean?
no elk.
Yeah.
No, they've kind of dispersed up on the north side of the river. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
strange. It's very strange because you used to see pretty good sized herds and there's just a few here and there and that's it. I mean, they're not, no, knock on wood.
I think they're all up the hill. I mean,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They've gotten scared of people.
golf
Huh?
course.
They've gotten scared.
But they're logging up there. You'd
They
think
used
that
to
they'd
go
move out of
and
there.
just look at them like cows. Now when they see you, they're freaking on the afterburner.
I could have petted one on the nose there last week. They aren't,
Over there, they're scared to death now.
yeah. But anyway, that's where it's at. And, I hadn't thought about it till we're talking here. It probably would behoove the situation to have this committee write a letter asking for a stakeholders meeting with upper management. Because otherwise it's going to be the same old, same old.
And then I'll follow up, to see if Jeff does contact, I guess, staff at,
What's that?
if Jeff contacts staff about having a meeting with, Tallawadini Nation. We'll see.
No, and I asked him today, I said, well, Jeff, you kind of said, because it was kind of strange. He said, I said, I know a couple of guys. I said, I'll talk to J-Tuck. I said, my granddaughter and his daughter are good friends. And I'll stop and see when I go by. I go by his house every day. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's a super nice guy and everything. And then when I went and talked to him, he didn't even know who Stoddard was.
Yeah, I was like, now who is she talking about? Yeah. And then I remembered which one he was, because he's the shorter guy.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I better not here in public.
I'm on the cutting edge myself right now. But anyway, yeah.
So I think it would be good, depending on what the group feels like and so forth, if we actually send a letter to that. However, would you be willing to write the letter that
I
we
will.
can sign and send it on to them from the Fish and Game Commission
Yeah.
in addition to your contact with them?
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a good thing to do.
And
Because, you
but
ask,
we need
you ask
to-
them for these meetings, then they just don't ever happen.
Yeah, but we need to start at the top and go down and have people here that have, and positions that have never been here before. Because what we've worked with for 18 years ain't working.
Yeah. And what we would like to get in that also is a list of folks who can attend.
Yes,
Because if the list of folks who can attend aren't approved by us, there's no sense having the meeting.
well, we can specifically ask for the chain of command that I have right now. This is supposed to be the chain. And I've been CCing everything to all of them. And I really think that's kind of why the wheels are slowly starting to turn. And I told him, I said, yeah, you guys wave the flag and you say we got landowner tags, we got more tags. I said, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to the total picture.
So I guess with that, I'd like to, I don't know if that's how we work, right? I'll make a motion that we, draft a letter from the Delaware County Fish and Game Advisory Commission to invite upper management of California Fish and Wildlife to a elk stakeholder group meeting in Del Norte County at the Grange.
Sure.
Is there a second to that request?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Helen's going to write a letter, and we can get it signed, and then we can get it sent off. Absolutely.
Yep. I think it'll help.
We'll send a copy also, I'm assuming, to the Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Perfect.
Our freezers will be full. No. I have been. I wrote my letter. I had a bunch of changes in it, and it didn't put them in, so it looked like I was a second grader writing it. They got the message.
So is there anything to add on the salmon closure, I wonder? I guess they're fishing 20 fathoms or less in the ocean. Does that sound correct?
Actually get different versions from different people out there. Got guys that are going halibut. That's the only thing we can fish for. That's the only thing over 20 fathoms.
Yep, I do. You have to listen to me again. The junior pheasant hunt And we need help. Would any of you people like to help with it? We have about 20, 25 people that came to a meeting. They're really going to crack down on the safety. And I was at the last one, and that kind of needs to be done. There's no second chances with firearms. And the Rocky Mountain Elk are going to match any donations that we got. One of the things that we're going to try to do this year is many of you probably know what bird launchers are that you train dogs with. I don't know if any of you have ever used them. And especially for the younger kids, they have the pheasant ones. We're going to try and get some of those with the manual string. You can go off several feet and launch the bird. I talked to Mac at the Rod and Gun Club. He said that we can take those kids up there like the week before and practice shooting a little. All the game wardens in the county did a fantastic job. We had an on-site hunter safety class because now you can do it. Now you can do it online, and that's not very good. They did a great job. They brought in all kinds of this, that, and the other thing, and there were adults that took the class as well. And Debbie Olson, she's with one of the real estate. I apologize, I forget who she's with. Kevin Hartwick are some people that have given money towards some of our Grange wildlife projects this summer. And then the Rocky Mountain Foundation are going to help. And it's going to be August 10th. And it's going to be on McLaughlin Peninsula. And that will be before any deer season start. And because that's been a problem in the last. And then McDonald's is going to provide all the food, and, like hot chocolate, pastries, coffee for the people that's helping, and the morning hunt. And then they are going to provide lunch for everyone. It's actually Sal's the one that got that, as his son is the manager for McDonald's. And then they're going to provide afternoon snacks for the afternoon hunters. And there'll be 10 hunters in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. Frank here, the wildlife manager, is all in favor of it, and he's ordered the pheasants. And Aaron is just making real sure that the pheasants are doing okay with all the heat and everything they're having, because I think they raise them in Orland, I think they told me. And so now we're waiting to see, the department had to approve the launchers. It would be the first time that's ever been tried. And so it's going to take, about 3 weeks to get them here. So we're on the fast track right now.
When you said that the Rod and Gun Club would let them go out there and shoot, is that that week before?
We sometime,
So
sometime.
after the fair then?
Yeah. Well, no, the hunt is August 10th, so we'll probably try and set it up in July. But the Fish and Game, and Aaron called me today. They're getting it on their website, and then you have to have your junior hunting license to get it, which of course means you had to have your hunter safety. And anybody that has a junior hunting license is eligible. So like if it depended when you bought it, you could still technically just be leaving 16 years old, but you could still do it. And I think the plan is to kind of maybe have the birds out and actually flush them out for the older kids. So
And at what time does it start on?
it'll start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And that's when you want volunteers there, or you want them
Yeah.
earlier?
Well, we're going to have one more meeting, or Aaron is, because this is being put on by the Fish and Game. All the rest of the people we're just helpers and contributors to it. And Aaron's going to get back to me after this weekend, and we're going to choose another night and contact everybody that's going to help.
Okay.
And they're going to, at the gate where you go in this year, they're going to have monitors there, and they will, if nothing else, put a electric tie on your triggers, and then they'll have a place where the kids, when they get there, they lay their guns out there, not riding around on quads with their guns on. And then I'm sure they'll have to have some people come with quads to go put the birds out. And then we'll need volunteers to help mow some of the areas because there isn't any leases out there anymore, and some of the grass is like shoulder height. So, anybody here want to help?
You can sign me up for it.
Huh?
Sign me up for it.
Okay, will do.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked about the dogs, and okay, and we talked about the safety of the dogs because what happened in Humboldt County, they shot the dog, and you got you got kids out there, and we discussed in today's world, some people we've kind of missed a generation. They haven't hunted, and so you have some 10-year-old kid. Oh, they passed hunter safety. I'm going to borrow Uncle Tom's gun, and I'm going to go out there, and that's why we're going to have it. We can't. Aaron looked into it. He wanted really to say, you have to prove that you can handle the shotgun, but they can't do that anymore. But I could see people, after that last episode, sending Billy Bob out there with a shotgun, and he's never fired it. And so that's why we said we're going to have a day where we're going to encourage everybody to go out there. For the gun club.
At the gun club. That
Yeah.
almost should be a requirement just because of what you.
Aaron wanted to, but it's against law.
So is that, are they providing the firearm or do you got to bring your own?
It's bring your own, and there was a lot of people that was at the meeting that said they had a gun that they would be willing to loan a kid. And the little kids, the main issue is if the shot or if the stock is short enough for them and stuff like that.
Is there a minimum gauge that you have to
Age?
gauge of shotgun?
Okay, no.
So you can use a 410?
Yeah, I've seen kids use 410s out there. A good shot.
Going to be very effective.
Helen,
I'm just asking, you know what I mean? It's like,
could you require that
I think 20 gauge.
before the dogs go out
Right.
there, all shotguns are put on the rack or something so
Well,
that
that's what I
nobody
said.
has
We're
a
having-
live
We're having
firearm in
we're
it in
having
hand?
a table there.
Good.
Where they have to put them on, and then each kid will have a person that is not their parent,
Good. Yeah, that's
With
the
them.
best way to do it
and
because
and go out.
then you're less likely to have an accident.
These are the Fish and Game rules to set it up, and yeah, and then they'll need people out there to put the pheasants out, of course, and Aaron and I were talking today. That was I know some chickens over in Redding and Orland and stuff are dying, and so we're hoping that the pheasants don't croak. But don't they raise pheasants? They raise them in black
Depends.
plastic. I don't even think they get to see daylight when they're grown. Huh?
There's that black netting.
Yeah.
Shade
They raise them over there in the valley. It's just black bird put over
Oh,
the plant.
okay. Yeah,
They don't get hurt.
yeah.
They flap and hit it.
Yeah.
We got birds that they couldn't fly.
Well, that's what was discussed too. And there's going to be no more of if I'm standing here waiting for the bird and it's too fat to fly or they've spun it too many times and it doesn't come up. And then I couldn't believe it. Somebody walked out, picked the bird up, threw it in the air, and the kid shoots. Oh, yes.
I did it.
It's not happening anymore.
I told them, okay, I'm standing next to the barn. When it comes outside the barn, you shoot it.
Yeah,
Sometimes those birds can run for long ways.
Yeah.
And they won't fly.
yeah. So I think these wardens have a real good grip on it, that it's going to be fun and it's going to be safe. Whether the kids get a bird or not, I think they're going to have fun. And I think some of the money, we're going to maybe, I don't know, get a T-shirt or something for the kids with a pheasant on it. It's not that everybody has to get something, but kids love that, and I think it's good publicity. Oh, and Ducks Unlimited is, they're coming, the guy, I forgot his name. I talked to him, and he's coming over from Reading, and he's coming to that Ducks Unlimited meeting, which is July 27th. And he's going to bring 20 hats, so each kid will get a Ducks Unlimited hat. So now I hope all the kids show up because it did kind of have a bad rep.
Yeah, sign me. I'll come and volunteer.
Okay. Rob, would you like to do it?
Depends on what I got going on that
Okay.
days.
Feel free to call me.
Sorry. I mean,
Good.
if you need
Okay.
some mowing done.
We do.
I probably can contribute a tractor and a mower.
Okay.
I may not be able to contribute a driver.
Okay. All right. I know Fish. Have you seen that? Woo, woo. Nice new tractor and mower they have.
They don't have a driver either.
Yes, they did. They cut the Scotch broom at Bush Creek, 30 acres. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, Aaron and I talked about that today, and I said, well, depends with if Sal's done in time. And I said, at least he knows how to operate that kind of stuff. He's on our committee. It flaps out both sides. It looks all of that. But I think they have to share with Humboldt County. So if it's gone, then maybe we might call on you. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think they were just kind of like areas where at least you can see because
Shooting lanes.
yeah, but that
feet
canary
wide.
that
Doesn't
canary
can't get-
grass out there is probably over the top of your head out there by now. Yeah. 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 They came clear around the lake and down across there on Lakeview. They were over there. So, Jackie, do you know if there's some kids that might want to do it that you can contact?
I can let the ones I know.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's.
Have
the-
you got your 10 or have you got your 20 or?
Oh no,
Okay.
we haven't even.
Oh,
No,
Okay.
we're just now gearing up to go,
okay.
and we're going to put it out on the
Okay.
on the fishing game site. I'm hoping they have it out by next week.
Okay, I'll send out, with my next newsletter, I'll send out a postcard just to kind of
Okay.
let kids know.
Do you
and
know
let
if
them all
they
interested.
still are doing the hunter safety online?
Yes, they are. I think so.
Can you do hunter safety online?
Yeah,
Yes,
instead of in person like the
Yes.
one you had.
yes,
So I could possibly get at least two hunters if I talk them into doing it
right.
online.
Right. And that's a good deal if the parents are hunters. But when the parents aren't hunters, the kids really don't get very much out of it.
Right. Right.
Here's, he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants stuff.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. I'll shut up now.
Thank you.
70.
So, any correspondence? Nobody writes a letter to us anymore, do they? Any commissioners' reports other than Miss Helen?
Do we have a commissioner resign?
Yes, Commissioner Justin Nunez resigned.
Okay.
And Susan is going to resign. Her husband passed away in kind of extenuating circumstances.
So if you know of anybody, have them apply.
Search the edges of whatever for more people. Like, because I mean, it's not like it takes a massive amount of time, right?
Yeah.
You just have to be interested in fishing game issues.
I was surprised that Justin resigned. He didn't even put a year in. Oh yeah, I know. Oh, I know about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Next, next.
So is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right. All third.